Hello my good ones. I am sure that many of you have already watched a special episode about a parallel world. I am still tormented by the question, who is the Supreme? It is now known that he originally had all the miracle stones, including the moth and peacock wonder stones. In that world, ordinary people do not know about the existence of the miraculous. All talismans are used only for the personal benefit of an unknown being called the Supreme. Sometimes he entrusts some talismans to ordinary people, or people from high society, but I repeat that this is done only for the benefit of the highest. Gabriel was once given such a right, and he swore allegiance to the Supreme. Gabriel was also paired with Emily, and it seems that in that world their problems with conceiving a child were identical. They also tried all the methods, and one day Gabriel came up with a crazy idea to steal the peacock talisman from the Supreme. But something went wrong and Emily, as well as the world of Ladybug, fell into an eternal sleep. Was the peacock talisman similarly damaged in that world? Or did this powerful spell of the miracle stones have such an effect on Emily's health? It seems that since then Gabriel and Emily have become enemies for the Supreme. After Emily's death, Gabriel realized the injustice of this world, and decided to create a resistance, which included Alia and Nino. Gabriel realized that such a powerful force could not be in one hand. But the Supreme couldn't let it go, and he found new allies in the faces of Marinette and Adrian, to whom he promised to give them what they most want in exchange for loyalty. But as you understand, he was not going to fulfill their wishes, but slowly kill them with the same forces of the miracle stones that they used to their detriment. He taught them to use their powers repeatedly, but he did not tell them that these forces kill them if they do not take breaks for rest. Note that SHADYBUG has not used her miraculous powers of recovery before. Perhaps because she did not know about it, or the Supreme forbade her to do it. Marinette from the known world learned all these rules from Tiki. In general, Kwame Tiki told Marinette a lot about the world of Kwame and the balance of the universe. But in another world, the Supreme, apparently having a strong magical power over the Kwame, established for each Kwame a kind of seal of silence. These marks are visible on the face of Tiki and Plug. The Supreme guessed that Marinette and Adrian might find out about the possibility of merging the miracle stones, and took care in advance of the impossibility of summoning Gimme by installing a magic block. SHADYBUG, having learned from Marinette's diary the way to unite the Kwame, immediately took advantage of the information received. But the revelation of Tiki and Plaga caused only the strongest pain in the entities of creation and destruction. The seals of silence are also visible on their faces. It was not possible to summon Gimme. At that time a voice sounded, apparently the highest one who cast this spell. Marinette, from an alien world, was also injured for this attempt to disobey the Supreme. So who is this Supreme? If you look closely, these seals on the faces of the Kwame represent a sign similar to the sign of the Order of Guardians. That is why I had a theory about the involvement of the abilities of the monks from the Temple of the Guardians. Based on this, it can be assumed that this creature could be Master Fu himself. We know the story of young Master Fu, but did Wang Fu tell everything reliably? Did he conceal some details in his account of the events in the Temple of the Guardians? It is known that no one respected young Wang Fu, and considered him a weakling, calling him offensive nicknames like Ham. Perhaps he really was subjected to cruel bullying by his peers in the temple. Just like Marinette in that world, she was constantly attacked by Chloe. Master Fu said that through his stupidity he created an eternally hungry devourer, who eventually destroyed the Temple of the Guardians and Wang Fu. He miraculously escaped from the monster's pursuit, having lost 2 talismans. It is this story that we know from the mouth of Master Fu. But what if we assume that in a parallel world, young Wang Fu took revenge on everyone for his humiliation, and thus became the only guardian? Having taken possession of the most powerful box, he began to call himself the Supreme. At the same time, young Wang Fu cannot be called bad, because it was his cruel peers who pushed him to take this step, calling him an inferior being. This made him cruel, and he became the highest, proclaiming himself the secret master of this world. But as he was a cowardly child, so he remained in his soul. That is why he does not advertise the magic stones of miracles and tries to keep this secret in the strictest secrecy. He could organize his security only by becoming the most powerful and the richest. He began to use all these talismans only for his own selfish purposes. In general, if you look at a parallel world, you probably can't call it disgusting or ruthless. The Depainching family still owns a bakery, and quietly bakes and sells pastries, and Adrian is also a model. But I do not deny that money and power rule that world. Ordinary kind's selfless relationships are forbidden there, and Gabriel would like to change this by giving people hope for a better world. Shadybug and Noir realize that they could take a different path and rebel against the Supreme. But whether they will be able to cope with it is not yet a fact, because the highest has the biggest advantage, it is information. Unlike them, he knows all their personalities, which means they are vulnerable. So the battle in the parallel world will be much tougher than we can imagine. I would like to see their world and the continuation of this story. The struggle of a new team of superheroes against a creature called the Supreme. In general, it would not be bad if this story was brought out in a separate animated series. Write me your thoughts on this. And how do you think my theory about Master Fu can be true? And I have everything for today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like it and click on the bell. Goodbye, my good ones.